Hi, everyone. Hi, YouTube. It's Tim here over on the Tim Hatch Live channel, and we need to talk because things happened last night or this morning that you need to know about because YouTube is getting weird. Let's do it. Yeah, last night we put on an episode. It was season 7, episode 17 of the Deep End. It was an episode that I was particularly proud of because of the content. Content rich, I thought very helpful for God's people, Christians, navigating the crazy, wacky nature of our world. And so it was removed. It was removed this morning. I got a text from a few people saying I was watching and it was suddenly gone. And I'm here to talk about it. So we need to talk about YouTube because things aren't exactly right. Now, you can still watch the episode, and I'm going to show you where in just a moment, but that's what happened. Gone. I've had this happen temporarily, but not permanently up until now, and we have been given a warning from the YouTube overlords. Hello, YouTube overlords. I don't see you, but you see me. I'm the guy that you probably don't like. This is the first time we've been this far with YouTube suppression and censorship. So I want to talk about it because if we get another warning, it's a strike. And then if we get 3 strikes, they terminate our channel. That's how it's done. And you say, well, I mean, they have the right to do what they want. They do. No doubt about it. But they're awfully arbitrary in the process by which they do these things. And I need to expose it. See if I get another warning by just exposing this. We'll see. I have my suspicions because last night was jam-packed with a lot of stuff on transgender people. And transgender people, you know, you are made in the image of God, and Jesus Christ shed his blood so that you could know the Father and that there is hope for you. We do not want to harm you. We do not want to condemn you. I even said that last night on the episode, but there are some serious problems coming to our culture that Christians are grappling with because we know biblically God made them male and female. There's two sexes, and how God made you is what he made you to be. And the very, very minute number of people that are intersex or, you know, somewhat ambiguous, oh man, that's like, you don't base a whole society on a tiny, tiny fraction of biological data. No, you go with the norms. So anyway, we talked about Dylan Mulvaney. We got his content from his own TikTok channel. We talked about a trans activist, atheist, Catholic funeral, which went nutty. But we got that from a trans-friendly YouTube channel. And we just do what YouTubers do. We commented on other people's content. And I do this from a biblical worldview, a Christian worldview. It is my opinion based on biblical scripture from my own understanding of how God has chosen to reveal truth to us. So I was flagged for misinformation. And I take that very seriously because the team behind me, and if you're a Tim Hatch Live member, you know the team because you get our Monday morning meetings delivered to your email, and it's a fun time, and we have a great chat about what we're going to put on the Deep End every week. But that team, I always tell them, show me the receipts for what I'm going to talk about. It better be true, accurate. I want documentation. I went to college. I have a master's degree. I've written graduate level papers. I know the importance of not misleading. And plus, I'm a pastor. I'm a Christian. I'm accountable to God. I'm accountable to the people of God. I'm accountable to the scriptures. Plus, the Holy Spirit dwells in me. He will not allow me to walk willfully in sin and not confess it. Okay, so this is who I am, and I have rejected many, many news stories that we could have gone with on the channel, but I didn't have enough receipts. They could have been fake. They were even possibly fake, and I rejected them. But the news stories from last night's episode were factual. I just showed you what other people posted, and I responded to those videos and those contents and that content from a Christian and biblical worldview. Now, YouTube gave me notification that the channel was taken down. So you go into YouTube Studio and you navigate and you do all these things. They give you only one chance at appealing this warning. And this is weird because usually you don't get just one, but I got only one chance. And then they told me it was misinformation, but they didn't tell me what part of the video is misinformation, not any clarity. So I had to watch the video and say, okay, where could I have been misled or misinforming people? And then I even took this little test on YouTube. They give you little classes, because we're all morons to them, on how to not be, misleading to people. So I took this like 10-minute class, and based on that class and the documentation that they sent me to, I'm guessing it had something to do with the flag burning, the Israeli state flag burning by what appeared to be Palestinian protesters or pro-Hamas people. Then on further review, I guess it was from a 2021 video. And I think maybe, okay, is that what it was? Because I used a older video to kind of represent Hamas today because the war broke out in October. Maybe that's the issue YouTube had with me. So I appealed it. And here's what I sent to YouTube. I'm going to put it on the screen. I am still at a loss as to how I presented misinformation on this episode. I feel it may be the flag burning video I shared and suggested to people burning the flag were Hamas Palestine supporters, and that the video is from 2021, as far as I can tell. So perhaps I should have added context in that regard. If that is so, please advise, and I will remove that portion of the content immediately, as it was not very pertinent to the episode's aim. Thank you and God bless. And if you watched the episode last night, I was like, hey, just final thought. Here you go. Look at this. Genesis 12:3 stuff coming back at you right here. And that was I think based on the little class that they gave me and the documentation they gave me on misinformation, they said something like, if you use older material and present it as kind of recent material from a political perspective, that's considered misinformation, so we will flag you or warn you on that content. So I reached out to them. I said, tell me, if that's the case, I will take it out. No big deal. Want to get the other content out. Their response came back. They usually take a little bit over 24 hours or somewhere around 24 hours. They promised 24 hours. They got back to me in 60 minutes and they said, our review confirmed that this content violates YouTube's community guidelines. No further appeal is possible. Boom. Door slammed shut. And I have a warning, which is one warning away from a strike, which is 2 more strikes away from the channel going away forever. So I thought more about it. It must not be the Palestinian flag, the Israeli flag being burned. And then I thought more about the content and who did I represent? Who did I maybe misrepresent? A past comment that might be misconstrued in the content as something more current. So I thought, here's what the issue really was. And I'm going to do a test now. This video is actually not just informing you, but it's a test of YouTube's censorship, okay? I shared last night the current White House administration's own press release from last year, March 30th last year, where the White House stipulated that the people who were shaping the soul of the country are trans people. This was their own website, the White House's own website, a proclamation on Transgender Day visibility, and it says, quote, transgender Americans shape our nation's soul, end quote, and it goes on, and you can read it for yourself on the website. And then I shared this video of the former administration's quote from last week at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. Watch.
But Americans of faith are not a threat to our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country. They're the soul of our country.
Okay, so there you have the 2 presidential viewpoints. So maybe because I picked out that statement from March 30th of last year, almost a year old now, and I used it in correlation with a Trump statement from last week. Is that the violation? Is that the misinformation, YouTube? I just did it again, so let's see if I get that elusive second warning. Hi, YouTube overlords. How do you strike me now? Let's see. Let's see if we can get that fastball by the batter. Here's where we are as the Tim Hatch Live team. We are realizing that YouTube is becoming a less viable outlet for my content. It really is. And it seems they want it that way. And I want to say, fine. We will continue to post on YouTube, but I am planning on 100% encouraging alternative outlets while I still can from this outlet. The alternatives I speak of are x.com/TimHatchLive, patreon.com/TimHatchLive, or TimHatchLive.com/Rumble. So https //timhatchlive.com/rumble. No quote. Sorry, that's a typo. Those are the alternatives. That's where you can actually still find last night's content. And it's a good one. I'm telling you, it was a good episode. I was really proud of that content, but it's gone from YouTube. Oh, YouTube. And just so you know, the skeptics out there who say, yeah, but there's other Christians who do stuff like you and they aren't suppressed, and so stop crying about it. They don't do what I do. They don't. I've checked those channels out. They dip their toes into some of this content that I do, but they don't dive all the way in. I dive all the way in because that's my personality. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to pull it all out, and I'm going to throw it at you, and then you can make your own assessment. But understand that I am speaking editorially as a Christian and a biblically minded pastor, and it comes from that point of view. And you, American citizen, have every right to ignore me, unsubscribe, hate me, attack me viciously, call me names. That's your freedom. And I don't get upset about that. I've been going back and forth with the commenters, the haters and the admirers, and I love it. It's great. Back and forth. That's what this country should be about, not who gets watched and who doesn't get watched based on some small segment of the society in a very small segment of the landscape of America on the far west coast in Silicon Valley with a bunch of oligarchs who decide what you can and cannot watch in their boardrooms, in executive rooms, and through their army of censors scattered around the internet. You got to realize that this is happening. It's happening more and more. Another anecdote that I had to share with you about the censorship of our channel. I know for a fact that we are censored because Brandon, who is part of our team, he has a successful YouTube channel of his own, and he was trying to put our content on a new advertising stream for YouTube just to get the word out there, and YouTube rejected every single submission from our content that he put onto that platform. Every single one. YouTube said, nope, can't use this platform. He went to his own private YouTube channel, his own, other YouTube channel, which is about gaming. He put almost any video from his content onto that advertising program, and they were all accepted. So all of my content was rejected by YouTube. All of his content was accepted by YouTube for an advertising outlet on the channel, on the platform. There's other stories. It's amazing. And then when I was at National Religious Broadcasters Convention last week in Nashville, I met other YouTube creators, Christian YouTube creators, about my size, some bigger, some smaller, who said, yeah, I'm censored all the time. My stuff is getting taken down all the time. It happens. They are not friendly to us. This world, again, is not our home. But here's some thoughts I want to leave you with. Truth matters. The question is, who's going to arbitrate the truth? Big tech wants to be that arbiter. And you need to understand, do not be deceived. Get your head out of the sand, Christian. This is a harbinger of things to come. Remember when Amazon removed access to the web service from Parler, the alternative kind of conservative app for Twitter users at the time, right around January 6th? Remember that? And the web service said nope. Like Parler was just taken down and gone, and they never recovered. Do you remember that? Do you remember how during the trucker protest in Canada, they just invaded the bank accounts of those truckers and the people who supported them? Do you understand what's going on? This is not without historical precedent. The Nazis used Kristallnacht in Germany to suspend many freedoms, and then used the response to that horrible night of civil disturbance to demonize Jewish people and eventually put them off into ghettos and then execute them. And it was all based on a manufactured and coordinated event called Kristallnacht. Look it up for yourself. And what we know about January 6th is that we know there were federal agents in the crowd. We know it. Vivek Ramaswamy says it all over the country. And when he talks about it on CNN, they do not have proof that he's wrong. And we know that Ray Epps was out there calling for the people to go into the Capitol. And he worked for the FBI. These are facts. We know that Nancy Pelosi had an entire documentary team ready in her office on January 6th to record her reaction to the day as it happened. We know that COVID-19 was developed in a lab in Wuhan. Just ask Jon Stewart. He was on Stephen Colbert's show talking about it hilariously. We know the outbreak of COVID-19 happened at just the right time, just before the election, so that mail-in ballots could be sent to every household in the key battleground states, and the rest is history. And most importantly, we know that most people are ignorant to many of these details, and YouTube wants to keep it that way. That's what we know. So go ahead, YouTube. Give me my warnings. I don't give a rip. I'm not bowing the knee to you. I have a broadband connection to Jesus Christ in heaven. His authority supersedes your authority by 1 billion trillion miles. I don't even know if that's a number, but I'm just shooting for it. And I will continue to post here, and I will invite my subscribers elsewhere. Where? I will invite them to Parler. I will invite them to Patreon. I will invite them to X, and I will invite them to all the other outlets of this content. And I will post another video in 2 weeks for the Deep End Season 7, Episode 18. But gone from YouTube forever is Episode 17, except for this, the We Need to Talk session. I hope it has been helpful for you. Maybe you're a YouTube creator. Maybe you're realizing it. Let me know in the comments if that's the case. I am interested in knowing your story as well, because this stuff is obnoxious. There is no shame from the YouTube overlords, and we need to call it out when we see it. And I'd like to know why still, YouTube, since you make it so arbitrary as to how you have decided and determined that my content was unacceptable for your platform, and you refuse to communicate that with me. You refuse to answer my question. You refuse to even give me clarity on what the issue was. I would like to know from you. But I have a feeling that you make it intentionally arbitrary so that you can silence people like me. Alternatives again, x.com, Patreon, and timhatchlive.com/rumble. I will see you there. God bless.